What's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel. It's Tactically Torah. My name is Heath. Bless you. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you for being here. I wanted to talk to you guys today about a picture I saw on Instagram. It was more so, not necessarily a meme, but it was something to get a point across. What it was a picture of Mel Gibson in the role that he played in the movie called The Patriot. Very fitting for today, especially with the things that's going on. What it was that scene where he is fighting he's fighting the British in the woods, kind of very much so guerrilla style. And it's a picture of where he's just got blood all over him, all over his shirt. It's just stained with blood. And he's holding up his battle axe, and he's got a knife in his hand, and just all the things. He's already expended all of his ammo out of his rifles and his single shot pistols. Aren't you glad that we don't live in those days? But the expression on his face, it was, it was candidly perfect for the moment that he was living within the movie The Patriot. And you could tell, obviously, he's covered in blood. He just endured an intense battle, incredibly physical, and you could see just the look on his face was obviously courage, but intense fear, remorse. He looked sad, but courageous. It was all of this, all the proper emotions that one would feel in that moment. So the words that went along with the picture was, what were the words? Something to the effect, and I'll put it maybe as the thumbnail or just show it at the beginning of the video or somewhere in there. But the words that went with the picture was, you are not, if you don't have the capacity for violence, if you are not capable of violence, you are not peaceful. You have to have the capacity for violence in order to be peaceful. If you're not capable of violence, you are not peaceful. You are harmless. There's a big difference. And that statement is very true. Because what you see within that statement isn't about capacity for violence. It literally means, that's the definition of what it means to be meek. You have within you, maybe not necessarily the want to or the desire to commit atrocities, but you recognize that you have the capacity to do what the situation needs in order to, whether it's maintain righteousness or come to the aid of, or whatever the situation requires. You are essentially, you have the capability of being a very aggressive man. Now that's violence, okay? You have the capacity is within you to commit atrocities. However, what makes you a peaceful individual is that you choose not to live your life in that manner. You have that strength to do so, to just completely wreck somebody's life. However, you choose to rein or harness that aggression and that that violent nature and choose peace instead. See, that is meekness. It's strength under control. Now, on the flip side of that, there are more people than the latter, than what I just described, who are more like this, who want to run their mouth, and they really have no means or capability to back up the crap that they say. So they'll run their mouth and act a game, act tough and so on and so forth, but they're harmless. They'll talk like they're peaceful. They'll talk like they can be aggressive, but when it comes down to it, there's no action. There is no action. And that's kind of the borderline. See, aggressive violence requires courage. The Father said that there is no place in the kingdom of heaven for cowards. He even says, as a command, be strong and be very courageous. It's a command to be strong. It's a command to be courageous. So, if you are not strong nor courageous, if you don't have the capacity for violence within you, you are either one or two things. You are either harmless, well, actually, likely you are both. You are harmless and a coward. Now, that is not to say there are individuals who I would say are harmless, but they are certainly not cowards. But we're not going to go down that road necessarily right now. I'd say the point is that there are far too many people who talk the talk but don't walk the walk. They don't have the gumption behind them or the capability to back up the very words that they say, or even the courage to step out and stand for righteousness and do something about what they claim. Which is, if you guys know, Freedom's Revenge has it nailed very well. Whereas he says this flag that he has, that I would be proud, and I plan on buying one, by the way. I would be proud to fly it, because this flag will be known by the character of men who fly this flag. Character alone, because their character exudes righteousness and aggressive violence when they choose peace. It's all wrapped up into one. But the attitude is, take this mask wearing, for example. Somebody come into my face and tell me, you better put your mask on. Okay. I respect your right and the capability and even your courage to come to me and say that. But make me. Because I'm telling you right now that me wearing a mask just isn't going to happen. It is a hard resolved no. You perpetuate that even further to our local governments. They want to be like, oh, well, you got to do this. You're not allowed to go to work. This whole unconstitutional, tyrannical government that is being perpetuated right now. It's not okay. So the idea is, okay, call your bluff. Make me. Make us. See, that's courage. Even in the face of tyranny, everything is coming against you. And you have the courage to stand up and say, make us. Make me not work. Make me not go to my job and perpetuate a livelihood and a living for my family, which is my right. We don't have a democracy. We have what is called a constitutional republic, where we have certain unalienable rights that cannot be separated from us because they were given to us by the hand of the Most High Himself. They're unalienable. That's what that means. There is no separation. It's not possible. Now, the only way that you can lose your freedom is if you give it up. So with that said, the thought process is, okay, you want me to do this. You want me to stay at home. You want me to give up my guns. You want me to give up my freedom. Make me. Because they're only going to take what you give them. They literally don't have the capability, they don't have the stretch to force you. Yet. See, it's high time for, and this is turned into a completely different video now. But I suppose it's applicable. But it's high time for the silent majority, keyword majority. I am sick and tired of this nation, these United States of America, being run by cowards who all they do is pander to the minority that cries the loudest. It is high time, and well past the time it should have happened, 20 years ago, where the majority was the loudest. You don't cater. Now you still have a voice as a minority, but we should not cater to minorities and put handcuffs on those who, put it this way, there's no such thing anymore because of all this BS that's going on. There's no such thing anymore as guilty until proven innocent. I'm sorry, innocent until proven guilty. The thought process is, if you're accused, you are immediately guilty until you can prove your innocence. It's the same bullshit with these masks, with this COVID-19. Not saying there isn't legitimacy to it. I'm sure people are getting sick. I'm sure it's out there. I have not experienced it, but I refuse to live my life in a state of fear. I refuse. It is not within me. I will stand as a courageous individual and tell you that if you want to come to me and tell me to put a mask on, make me. Because I will not willingly comply. That's all there is to it. There are situations where until I am completely able to perpetuate a livelihood outside of my job, which, by the way, they make us wear masks. Complete and utter BS. The day we came back from furlough, they said, you either wear a mask and you play ball, or you're gone. That's all there is to it. First words that came out of the plant-wide meeting. Play ball or you're fired. Okay, so we know where we stand. So the moment this vaccine rolls out, we know where we stand. Play ball, because I'm very certain that my company that I work for will be the very first to be like, okay, look what we did for you. Here's the vaccine. Play ball or you're fired. Okay. Now the problem with that is either you get the vaccine, or if you say no, you're fired. But when you say no, you're immediately put on a list. Because you better be sure that they're going to put you on a list. Now the thing is, with this vaccine, it won't be the governments that's perpetuating the idea of the vaccine or even enforcing it. It's going to be the companies out there, such as Amazon, such as Walmart, Target, all the places that you like to shop, you like to go to. The dealership down the road, you need a new truck. Oh, you got this vaccine? Oh, I'm sorry, we can't do business. We already see it. Can't even go to the eye doctor without having to forcibly wear a mask. The problem is too many people, I'll just bring it right back around to the beginning. Too many people are afraid of what other people think. Let me tell you something. The quickest and easiest way, this is how I got over fear of man right here. Zizio. Fear of man. You want to get over fear of man? Put some Zitzit on. Put some of those bad boys on. Put it on your four garments. Numbers chapter 15, verse 31, talking about the rebellion of Korah. And the Most High says to the people, all right, guys, this is to remind you of my covenant and remind you of my laws and commands that teach you my character. This is how serious I am. And these Zitzit are forever, for all generations. All who choose to believe on my name are to wear them. Forever, for all generations. Oh, but that goes against the modern Christianity. You know, most Christian churches, oh, that's for the Jews. But I'm telling you what, if you love me, just like Yeshua said, if you love me, obey my commands. That's one of his commands. Wear the Zitzit. You hear about the woman with the issue of blood. Whenever it says she reached out and touched the hem of his garment, she didn't touch the hem. That's a complete mistranslation. She reached out and grabbed onto a Zitzit. Power flowed out of him. Why? Because this is a recognition of faith, and it is a recognition of the power and authority of Yeshua that he has over our lives, and the capability that he has to even heal us. There's so much depth of meaning to these Zitzio. And it's all perpetuated out of obedience. So you go ahead and put some of these on, and that fear of man will go away. Especially after you get a knowledge, a reckoning of exactly what it means to you and why. You know, because the fear of man goes away whenever you all of a sudden have a rightful fear of the Most High. What can you do to me? We already know chastisement is coming. But guess what? The chastisement of my peace was upon him. He was bruised for our transgressions, our iniquities. And by his stripes we are healed. There's so much to it. That's all in this right here. If you love me, obey my commands. Get a correct understanding of who the Most High is and what his commands mean, and why we are to keep them merely for the understanding that it is what teaches us his character, and by keeping his laws, it's how we know him. Which is why in Matthew 7, Yeshua says, many will come to me in that day, saying, did we not in your name cast out many demons, and in your name did we not perform many miracles, and so on and so forth? And he will say, depart from me, you worker of lawlessness. I never knew you. Keep my laws and my commands. Keep my Torah. These Zitzit are to remind you of his Torah. That'll get you over fear of man quick, dude. Because I tell you what, the first time you put those on and you go out in public, man, your heart's pounding. God, I hope nobody notices them. And then God forbid, the first time somebody, what's those dangly things? What the heck are you wearing on your hips? Oh yeah, Numbers 15, it's in the Bible. Let me tell you about it. And then all of a sudden the Father begins to speak through you truth. That'll get you over fear, man, quick. So I said all that to say I really don't care anymore. My desire is to perpetuate righteousness Be strong and very courageous, because that's what the Most High requires. Okay, so if you love him, obey his commands. And yeah, let's come back on around to that picture. I can't even do it. Oh, you know what? Either you have the capacity of violence and you choose when to use it and when not to, which makes you peaceful, or you do not have the capacity of violence and thus either makes you a coward or harmless, and likely both. So I'm just throwing that out there. Shabbat Shalom, guys. Love you all. Like the video, share it if you want. I probably didn't even form a coherent thought, just rambling one thing into another. I think Bear calls that a bird walk. But anyway, bless you guys. Love you.